Hey, hey, hey. Let's get into our show. What's up? We're back for another video, okay? We got some news that I know you guys can use. I hope y'all are having a wonderful Thursday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. Thank you guys for coming on over. I am tired, y'all. I've been ripping and running all damn day, but I said, let me get into this news, honey, because I got a lot of stuff that I got to talk about and catch everyone up on. So while we're doing that, as you guys know, the Diddy case is underway. So many new developments are coming out on that. So I'm trying to keep up with that. While we're doing that, I also got to keep y'all in touch with this good old reality TV news as well, okay? So let's get into it. First things first, let's go ahead and catch everyone up on what's going on with this Diddy case. And then we got to get into some Marsau news, because Marsau decided to blow his damn horn and give his 5 cents, and nobody even asked. And he was very disrespectful when he did it. And we're going to address it here in a second. But let's go ahead and share. As you guys can see, we're going to look at Hollywood Unlocked, which we're going to see the update on this Diddy and Cassie trial. Well, it's Diddy trial where Cassie's been testifying, okay? We're going to look at some comments. We're going to see what you guys think and or feel about it as well. Thank you all for coming in. Diddy's attorneys, well, everything said in the video is alleged in my opinion and is used for fair use and entertainment. All right. Now, Diddy's attorneys are trying to prove that Cassie participated in the freak-off parties through loving emails, and these emails were read in court, okay? Let's get into what they're saying. It says that the Combs is charged with sex trafficking and racketeering. Let's get into what they're saying in terms of the update.
To be important, and what defense counsel is picking up on is an email. So when these emails or BlackBerry messages are being discussed, she is addressing them to Puffy or Pop. That was the nickname that she had for him. And she told him that in order for me to be more open, I need to feel like you're my husband, that this is the only man who will have this aggressive sexual side of me. And this is where it gets to be important, because then she says in this email exchange that in the beginning, when we were in love and we did these freak-offs, she responded and she said, it felt right. So that's what she says in that email. And defense counsel questioned her about that. And what she was referring to, it was those freak-offs. And she said, it felt right. She said, we were in love. And then she said, I'm afraid, though, that I'm becoming just one of your girlfriends in order for you to get your fantasies off. So they are going through all of these communications, Ted, between Sean Combs and Cassie, trying to establish consent, that she was a willing participant, and in fact, sending messages to him, one of which I'm not going to read, talking about the things that she wanted to be doing in these freak-offs.
Interesting.
It's going to be important, and what defense counsel is picking up on is an email. So when these emails or BlackBerry messages are being discussed, she is addressing them to Puffy or...
All right, so y'all hear that? Now, they're saying that Diddy's trial day, 4 attorneys for Diddy are trying to prove that Cassie's participation in freak-off parties, loving emails between them, and read those emails in court. And they were very, very grimy, okay? So y'all heard that. Let's move on over to the next piece. Now, as you guys can see here, Diddy's sons are leaving court. They're going every day. Well, one of them is Al B. Sure's son. I don't know why they keep saying Diddy's son, because he is not Diddy's son. But Diddy's sons, one of which is Al B. Sure's son here in the Quincy, which has the blonde hair. That's Kim Porter's son as well. And mother seen leaving the courthouse for lunch break during day 4 of the sex trafficking trial. Now, they are playing Cassie's song in support of her as the kids and mom walk out, okay?
Taking that man free. No, the girls didn't come. No, it was too much for the girls.
All right, so y'all see that? And then this is the boys. Why are they yelling at the kids talking about freak off? Freak off? Really? Is that appropriate? Anyway. All right, so shout out to the Shade Room. Says that Justin Combs, Quincy Brown left the courthouse, as well as King Combs. Okay, these are Diddy's sons, one of which is Albie Sure's son, which is Quincy. Left the courthouse for lunch alongside the mogul's mother, which is Janice Combs, honey. As day 4 of Diddy's SEX trafficking and racketeering trial is underway. Combs' daughters were not in attendance, so they didn't even come today because I think yesterday was a lot after they heard about Cassie with all those sores in her mouth and all these other bacterial infections and all these things that she received by doing said things that their father, which is Diddy, invoked on Cassie. Okay, I think yesterday was a bit much. Like I said, they ain't even bothered to come to the trial today, just the boy. So I think that, you know, as time goes on and they hear more and more things, they're gonna drop off and not be coming. Okay, they like, we don't want to hear that shit. Like, that's too much, child. It was just enough for me, and I was reading it. So imagine sitting in the courthouse and actually hearing this, like, coming out of somebody's mouth verbatim in terms of what happened. Shit, I was triggered just hearing shit, just reading it. Oh my God, that was a lot. All right, so that's what had happened with that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to read through some messages. Oh, Lord. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord, child. I'm trying to keep y'all updated on this stuff, and it's a lot. Okay, I'm really trying to be neutral in this shit, but oh my God. All right, so day four, Cassie faces cross-examination. Said that reads old text in court. Said, you hungry, Pop Pop? She's at, which is what you guys know. She calls Diddy. She calls him Pop Pop. Says it told Diddy, you make me a better woman. Wanted kids with him. I don't think she wanted kids with him, because I remember in the court documents where she was on birth control, and she said she purposely was on birth control because she made sure to not have kids with him. I think Diddy wanted kids with her because she was beautiful. Y'all know she is his type in terms of having kids. Diddy like those pretty girls to have kids with, okay, because he wants his kids to be beautiful. But Cassie did not want to have kids with him because in her court documents that where she sued him initially, she talked about how she was on birth control and how he knew all of her medical records and would request her medical records as well, okay? Let's get into these damn messages. So it says May 15th, okay, day 4, Cassie returned to the stand today for cross-examination in the civil trial against Diddy, where the defense focuses heavily on messages she sent after the alleged abuse occurred. Says that Cassie was asked to read several texts aloud, including one where she asked, you hungry, Pop Pop, and another that said, you make me a better woman. She also confirmed that she had expressed wanting to have children with him at one point. It says that the defense argued that the messages contradict her claims of fear and coercion. It goes on to say that Cassie pushed back, explaining the trauma, manipulation, and pressure kept her emotionally entangled even after the violence. It says that today's testimony raises deeper questions about the complexity of abuse and relationships and how victims process their pain. We're going to get into what that is called here in a minute, though, okay? So let's get into these messages. Shout out to Inner City Press, because that's where we're reading. So according to Combs Estavio, which I think is their attorney, says that please read this 1364. It says that Ventura, which is Cassie, says that I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. Says I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention. So Estavio then says that you wanted your special time with Mr. Combs. Cassie then says yes. All right, so Combs Estavio, which is the attorney, says that you testified that you told him, I love you so much that you make me a better woman. Cassie responds by saying, I definitely wrote those messages. The attorney then asks, you wrote that I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew that he had 6 children at the time. Cassie responded, yes. All right. So the attorney then asked Cassie what was going on when these messages were sent. Cassie responded by saying, I'm not sure. The attorney then asked what was going on in your relationship then. Cassie responded, it was early. We were loving. It says that Estavio, which is the attorney, says, I offer it. ASU also then says objection being offered for the truth overruled. So the attorney then asked Cassie, please read. So then Cassie proceeded to speak up and say, I wrote, I love you, smiley faces, I'll fly anywhere for you, I love you, Cass. Estavio, which is the attorney, then said that this 2009 email also then says objection, hearsay. The judge then says that Ms. Estavio asked more questions. So they trying to keep this moving along because they have a certain amount of time that they want to make a decision on this case. I told you guys the case is supposed to be from 8 to 10 days. They're kind of stalling on certain things that the judge does not see or deem to be that important. So he want to move it along. Let's get on to it. Estavio, which is the attorney, then said that from BlackBerry, what is BG? Ventura, which is Cassie, then says baby girl. So they abbreviated BG for baby girl. Combs Estavio, which is the attorney, then says, what did you write? So Cassie then says, you hungry? Pop, pop. So Estavio, which is the attorney, says, and Mr. Combs wrote to you, we are so in love that we don't do anything else. How long had you been seeing each other's? So Ventura, which is Cassie, says it like 2.5 years. Okay. So that's the conversation and text messages that were read in court today. All right. Not too much, not too bad. Okay. They're just trying to establish the relationship and how Cassie was able to go through the things that she went through after then sending some messages that she loved him. And then in other situations where she was afraid of him. So I think as time went on, in the beginning, it may have been good. As time went on, Diddy began introducing her into the voyeurism that we talked about on yesterday, where he was maybe pimping her out, is what it looked like, and involving her in his prostitution ring, where he hired men on Craigslist and other websites to come in and have relations with her. Because I'm like, if you love a person, you don't want to see somebody else sleeping with them, let alone doing certain things that you may do with them in the bedroom. It just gave weird. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and knock out this Halle Bailey because there's an update on that with her. All right, this is not going to be a very long video. It's a pop in. I'm going to give you guys this news. I'm going to let y'all go. All right, I might pop back in again. I don't know yet. Update. I love updates. All right, we've been talking about Halle Bailey and the DDG case for quite some time here, for a couple of days. So let's get into it. As you guys know, I told y'all on my last video that Halle Bailey filed for sole custody of their son Halo, and she was granted that. Now y'all know that she made accusations that DDG was abusive towards her. She showed bruises, her chipped tooth also. Those things were taken into the court, and the court took that into consideration and did give her custody. It said that Halle Bailey is granted sole custody of Halo until their June court date. So Halle Bailey has been granted temporary sole physical and legal custody of her son Halo, whom she shares with ex-DDG until June 4th court hearing. So they got to go to court for that abusive situation where a restraining order was put in place for the two of them, where DDG is not allowed to be around Haley or the child until court date, and then they figure out what goes on after that. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, Halle Bailey wants sole custody, as you guys can see, a baby Halo, and requests court order to prevent child abduction due to DDG's alleged abuse and threats. Says that he's hidden Halo before. So he's played these games of coming to get the baby, not answering the phone. She's trying to find the baby, can't find the baby. He's not cooperating or responding to her. So she did some things and put them into place so that she would know what's going on with her baby. This is the game that he plays. Now, granted, they are both parents of this child, but the child does live with her. And from my understanding, from things that I've read, if he wanted to see the child, all he had to do was contact her and come get the child, if it was feasible. But it's given that he's trying to play games with her. I feel like because he knows that she's moved on, I think he's bitter. Ever since he's made that public announcement that he's not trying to move on and be with anybody else, that Halle Bailey will remain the sole woman in his life until he decides to get married or in his 40s. But now she's popped out with this new boyfriend, and I feel like he's in his feelings and he's trying to punish her for maybe making him look crazy, or maybe his pride has been bruised by seeing her new man and knowing that another man may be around his child. So you can't just come and get the child and go ghost and not say anything to the mother when she's trying to reach out to you. That would definitely make her, or give her, the right to go to the courts and request that happen until they figure out visitation. Because according to what Halle was saying in another post that I read, He does not support the child in terms of paying child support. He does not support the child financially. Y'all know it's on that. You tell me what the baby need and I get it. That type thing. So he does not support the child. According to her, they do not have a visitation, concrete visitation order in place. And he's been playing these games of taking the child and not telling her. So she's trying to be a mom, and she's trying to do what a mom needs to do with as related to their child. The child is a beautiful child, and it's sad that the child is in between their mess that they decided to break up, and it's kind of effed up the direction that it's going. But thankfully, she's using the courts versus putting herself in a situation to where she'll probably have some type of legal action against her, because now they're fighting, and it looks like he's going to be petty, and his family has also jumped in it as well to be saying things about it, which I think they should stay the fuck out of, because that's their kid. But hey, that's what's going on. We're moving on. So that's the update. Halle Bailey does get full custody of their child until June 4th when they have their court date. Okay, moving on. All right, so let me get back to my main screen. Let's get into this Marsau news, child. Let's get into this Marsau news, because baby, Marsau hopped his ass in the comments, you guys, on a social media platform that was talking about the Cassie and Diddy trial. Let's go ahead and get into that in terms of what he said. I felt the shit was disrespectful in terms of what we know so far about this case. Okay, let's let that come up. Y'all see that's coming up on my screen. Hey guys, hey, thanks everybody for being here. As you guys see, this from Marsau 9 hours ago. All right, Marsau Scott said it's saying that the only issue with Cassie versus Diddy was domestic violence is like saying the only issue with slavery was the domestic violence as well. Says, I mean, the slaves were singing and laughing, falling in love, starting families and inventing stuff. So it must have not been too bad, right? Occasionally a whipping, but they were fed and housed, not the best conditions. When they had a chance to run, they didn't. So just must have been their choice, right? So he goes on to say Cassie could have walked away just like all slaves could have walked away. All right. Let me remove my banner so y'all can see. Could have just walked away. Y'all see that? That's what Marsau said. If that ain't some chauvinistic bullshit. Slaves couldn't walk anywhere. They would have been unalived. That's the difference. And the same could have gone for Cassie when she ran away several times to get away from Diddy, and he sent his people after her, kind of almost like slavery. Okay, it becomes Stockholm syndrome after a while. We get ready to look into that because I did my due diligence to pull that up to connect this to this post as well. Because a lot of times when you're in effed up situations and you're in it for a long time, you do develop Stockholm syndrome, and that let's go ahead and break down what that is. All right, this is so sad and this is crazy. It is so idiotic of him to post something in that way without understanding the complexity of what this situation is about. All right, y'all like that deep complexity, girl. Oh Lord. So, all right, they said why this happens. Let's get into this Stockholm syndrome. All right, Stockholm syndrome. A lot of you guys may have it and didn't even know you had it. If you're in a situation that's effed up and you continue to stay there and it becomes normalized, it could be Stockholm syndrome. Let's get into it. Stockholm syndrome is often viewed as a coping mechanism that helps victims survive a dangerous situation, which is what Cassie was in. We saw the video from CNN where Diddy was being very violent towards her, hitting, kicking, all of the above. You can go back and watch it on your leisure, but that's what that is. By aligning with the abuser, they may feel safer and more secure. The combination of trauma, fear, and the occasional small act of kindness can create a complex emotional bond that is difficult to break. It says, important note, Stockholm syndrome is not a formal diagnosis, but a way of understanding the complex emotional and psychological responses some people experience in situations of captivity or abuse, which is what Cassie was in. Okay. It's crucial to remember that the abuser is responsible for their actions and the victim is not to blame for the reactions. Okay. So you hear that, Marsau? The situation that Cassie was in, she was not responsible for that situation that she was in. She tried to leave, but it was difficult to do so because of the person that kept her in said situation or kept bringing her back to the situation after she left many times. All right. His security, his staff, and everyone else that was connected. All right. That's why they're calling this a RICO charge, because there were other people involved in making this, crime run as it did. Okay. Let's continue. Trauma bonding. We know what trauma bonding is. Trauma bonding says that they may develop an emotional bond with an abuser due to a pattern of abuse interprets with small acts of kindness leading to a complex emotional attachment, which is what Cassie had with Diddy. Okay, Diddy was many years older than her. 17, 18, maybe years older than her. Cassie was very young when she got into this situation with Diddy. She had a boyfriend, Ryan Leslie. We already talked about this. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a singer. She wanted to be an entertainer. That's why she got into this. Diddy used his power and his connections in order to coerce her into signing a effed up 10-year deal in order to enslave and entrap her into a situation she should have never been in the first place, okay? Feeling powerless, okay? They may feel powerless to leave the situation and may feel that the abuser has complete control over their life. I see that in this situation with Cassie and Diddy. Okay. Learn helplessness. After experiencing repeated abuse of captivity, individuals may develop a sense of helplessness, believing they cannot escape the situation. As most people who are in abusive situations, you want to get to the door, you want to touch the door, but something in you invokes such a fear that you can't go any further than the door. Okay. The person may not even be in the house or even near you, but they've invoked that much fear and control within you to make you be scared to move to that next level. You want to walk out the door, but you can't because of what you know or may think may happen as far as consequences of you trying to escape an abusive situation. All right, so selective memory. They may selectively remember positive interactions with an abuser and forget or downplay the negative ones. All right. Now, if you notice, most people who are abusive, in this situation with Cassie and Diddy, because I've been following this, reading transcripts and all this other stuff. Anytime that Cassie would be abusive towards, Diddy would be abusive towards Cassie, he would give her gifts, Rolls Royce, new apartment, shopping sprees, things of that nature. She became comfortable with seeing the most positive things, which we just read here. She became more comfortable with the positive things versus the black eyes. The black eyes didn't mean anything anymore because he overshadowed those things with positive things, meaning gifts, trips, whatever you want to call it. Okay. All right. Stockholm syndrome. We're still talking about it. Empathy for the abuser. Okay. Let me move this banner so we can see. All right. Empathy for the abuser. Then we're going to put it back. They may develop empathy for the abuser, believing that they are also victims or that the abuse is justified. Let's go back to the video where Diddy apologized to Cassie after this situation came out. Okay. After this video was put out, Diddy went and did an apology video. You guys remember that? I'm sorry, I was in a dark place. Me. Not once did I hear him direct the apology or the concern for Cassie. He made it about him. He's the abuser. You invoke this action, this fear and this abuse upon her. But when you did your apology, you also made the apology about you and what you were going through. We don't give a fuck what you went through. You were the abuser. Where is her apology where she feels like, hey, maybe he might be a little sorry? And you weren't really that sorry because at the awards, you still indirectly tried to call her out and still tried to invoke that fear in her by saying, and Cassie. And you kept calling her name as a means to try to say, hey, I still have this power over you. So you weren't sorry for that. You were sorry that you got caught. And that's how most abusers, that's how they move. All right, let's continue. We got more, child. We got more. We got to break this down because we will not allow someone to sit up and say that this person maybe wanted that because they didn't leave. It's always easy to tell a person to leave a situation. Like Tisha. Did Tisha leave? That's something she should have left. She should have left your ass a long time ago. 18 years with you, Marsau. That's Stockholm syndrome as well. All right, so I'm going to read it from my phone because this next one is kind of small. All right. Give me a second. All right, signs of behavior. Why did you cut it off like that? Helplessness. Oh my goodness. Why did I cut it like that? All right, hold on. All right, let's start at the top. Signs of behavior, signs and behaviors. Okay, this is all. We're still talking about Stockholm syndrome. Let's educate some people on Stockholm syndrome because we may not know what it means. You will after we finish this though. Now, positive regard for the abuser. If you listen to all these text messages and all of these videos and all this stuff as related to this case with Diddy and Cassie, he made it seem as though they were in a relationship in the beginning only to make her comfortable so that he could abuse her, use her, and put her in a Stockholm syndrome situation. So here we go. Individuals may develop positive feelings, including affection or even love. Y'all hear him? Y'all just heard her say she loved him in those text messages towards their captor or abuser. I'm gonna read it again. Individuals may develop positive feelings, including affection or even love towards their captor or abuser. She just told him, I love you. I thought we were going to have a child out of. He never ever was trying to do any of those things with her. He was trying to break her down and also groom her and control her and put her in a situation to where he could sell her and degrade her. But she saw it as love because she also followed those things, abusive situations, up with gifts and lifestyle and are meeting people who are dangling people in her face, like dangling a carrot in somebody's face when you know she wants to be an entertainer and be an entertainment. You put her in situations and made her feel like she was there when really she was just being used and abused. All right. So refusal to cooperate with authorities. They may resist efforts by police or other authorities to intervene, help, or rescue them, even if it means protecting the abuser. How many times did she leave? Okay. They said she also went to the feds to give some evidence to them, but she wasn't fully cooperative because she was still in protective mode and she was also fearful of him as well. So she did just enough to make herself feel like, hey, I'm almost there. She couldn't fully go through with pressing charges on him, one, out of fear, maybe for her life, because of the type of power that Diddy has. And if you guys followed the transcripts and the cases between she and Elrod, you guys would see as well in those where Elrod was talking about Diddy had people in the police station as well that were on his payroll. So imagine going and doing a police report on Diddy only for the person in the precinct to then contact him and say, hey, you know, such and such was just here and filed a police report and this is what it says. That person's life is then put in danger because of who he is and the power that he has. Okay, let's continue. All right, positive regard for the abuser. Individuals may develop positive feelings, including affection, love. Okay, we read that. Hold on. Let's go down. Because this is kind of broken up on my phone. Refusal to, okay. Defending the abuser. Let's get into that. They may defend the abuser's actions or beliefs, even when they are clearly harmful, and may try to reduce charges against the abuser. We see that. We see a lot of women who go and press charges on a person who's been abusive towards them, and later on they go and drop it. Thankfully, now the way that the state works is, even if you go and press charges and you decide later on, oh, I don't want to press charges, I don't want to go through with it, well, the state then takes over. And the reason for that is because a lot of women have lost their lives when they're put in situations of abuse, to where they say, hey, I don't want to press charges. And then later on, this person is unalived or things are worse. So the state has now stepped in. Anytime you go and try to press charges on a person for abuse, domestic, or however you want to say it, they step in and they press charges. So it's no longer in your hands when you come forward to press charges on said abuser. All right, denial or minimization of abuse. All right, they may deny or minimize the severity of the abuse that they've experienced, sometimes focusing on abusers' positive or kind moments. All right. Appeasement of the abuser. They may try to please or appease the abuser, believing that good behavior can prevent further harm. Trauma bonding. That's a huge one. Trauma bonding said that they may develop an emotional bond with the abuser, often due to a pattern of abuse intercepted with small acts of kindness, leading to a complex emotional attachment. All right. Feeling powerless. It said that they may feel powerless to leave the situation and may feel that the abuser has complete control over their life. All right. Learned helplessness. After experiencing repeated abuse or captivity, individuals may develop a sense of helplessness, believing that they cannot escape the situation. All right. Y'all see that? All right. So we saw that. We saw that. All right. So let's remove that. We're almost done, guys. I hope this is becoming a little bit more clear. And if anybody in my chat's dealing with this, okay, definitely get to someone that you can talk to, and go ahead and call 911 as well. There are different programs and things that are out there that can help women that are dealing with this. And before Stockholm syndrome set in, and before you start blaming yourself for a situation that you should not be in, it's not your fault if someone is being abusive towards you. All right. So don't ever feel like you have to stay somewhere that you don't want to be, where someone is degrading you psychologically, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. There's so many ways that you can be abused. Okay. So many ways that you can be abused. But once you realize what that abuse is, then you go ahead and act upon it. Why this happens. All right. Stockholm syndrome is why I can't talk today. Stockholm syndrome is often viewed as a coping mechanism that helps victims survive a dangerous situation by aligning with the abuser. They may feel safer and more secure. It says that the combination of trauma, fear, and occasional small acts of kindness can create complex emotional bond that is difficult to break. Important note, I think I read this one already, did I? I'm trying to make sure I got all of them. Okay, some of this was repetitive, but yeah. All right, so let me read this one. I don't think I put this one up yet. Some of these are kind of running into each other. Y'all, my apologies for reading some of them again. All right, so let's do this one. So we can do the breakdown of what it means. Stockholm syndrome is a psychological coping mechanism, okay? So when most people who are in this situation, they're just really coping. They're just really coping, getting from day to day. You're miserable, but just like, oh my God, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and we'll see what today holds, all right? Can develop in victims of captivity, of abuse, causing them to identify with and develop positive feelings towards their captor, all right? Which I feel like is what Cassie went through for 10 years, y'all, for a whole decade. She was in that situation with Diddy. So for Marsau to make a comment like he made, I thought that was very irresponsible. Let's put it back up there. All right. Now that we've read all of the things attached to what it means to have Stockholm syndrome, let's read it again. All right. Slaves also could have developed Stockholm syndrome as well by being in a situation they knew not to run. We already know. You've seen enough slave movies to know if any of the slaves would have tried to break out and run or escape, that would have meant their lives. Hell, they couldn't even read back in the day. They weren't allowed to read. Slaves back in the day had to sneak and read and pretend not to know how to read so that their lives would not be taken. And if the master knew that they knew how to read, they would be either whipped or some type of form of corporal punishment because that was not allowed. So there were some smart slaves, but the master never knew it. Yeah. So for Marsau to make this comment, I feel like that was very degrading. I feel like it was very ignorant. Even when we all know that your own wife is in a case of Stockholm syndrome of 18 years of being married, and we continue to hear about her being in some type of abusive situation. I'm not talking about physical, emotional, psychological, financial abuse. We see that. We see that. So many other types of abuse that she may be dealing with. I'm not saying he hit her. I'm not saying it is physical, but I do see some psychological. I do see some mental abuse. I do see some financial abuse there as well. All right. So let's get into what he said again, saying that the only issue with Cassie versus Diddy was domestic violence is like saying the only issue with slavery was the domestic violence as well. He says, I mean, the slaves were singing and laughing, falling in love, starting families, and inventing stuff. So it must have not been too bad. He says that occasionally a whipping, but they were fed. So that's like saying Cassie may have had to do occasional FOs and be hit by Diddy, and what we saw in that video that he did to her. But at least she rode around in a Rolls Royce. At least she was on red carpets. Do we see how insensitive that is? That's what that's like saying. That is what that's saying. Hey, no matter, I know we saw the video from CNN where he was being, abusive towards her, but hey, at least she was on red carpets. At least she didn't have to worry about money. At least she was living lavishly. Hell, she was living better than me. So it must not have been that bad. Well, no, that don't mean that. Occasionally, this is what he's saying, occasionally a whipping, but they were fed, housed, and not the best conditions. He says that when they had the chance to run, they didn't. So just must have been their choice, right? The same could be said about Tisha. She could have left alone. She could have left many times. Even when you left her and y'all had separations most recently. Why did she go back? Because you don't have shit to offer her, Marsau. You don't have shit to offer her. From what we hear, all the businesses are in Tisha's name. All the loans are in Tisha's name. So why would she go back to you, a person who has nothing, who continues to still cheat on her and embarrass her and keep her in lawsuits? That could be seen as a form of slavery and abuse as well, if we want to look at it that way. Okay, Tisha could be going through some serious self-esteem issues. I see that Tisha has some serious self-esteem issues, and she also has some serious Stockholm syndrome. All right, now, not that I'm a doctor and that, you know, I want to diagnose anyone, but judging from what we just read in the breakdown of what Stockholm syndrome means and all of the things that's connected to what Stockholm syndrome means, I see a lot of that in terms of Marsau and Tisha's situation. Okay, he also goes on to say, let me move my banner so we can fully see what this says. Why put the trigger warning? That do need to be up too, but let's get into it. So he says here, Cassie could have walked away just like all slaves could have just walked away. You need to learn your history. And this is what I mean with people like Marsau who think they know every fucking thing, but just come off as very ignorant. Learn your history. Did you take history in school? What slave do you know that could have just said, hey, I don't feel like picking fucking cotton today, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go. Master standing there with a full whip and a pow, and they just like, hey, I ain't picking shit today. Matter of fact, I got to go. I got shit to do. Do whatever y'all need to do. I'm out. I don't think anybody was that crazy to do that, okay? I don't think it got that serious that slaves really wanted to risk their life. Now, probably had some that ran and said, hey, I'm going to run for it, make a run for it. But bottom line is, yeah, it was just not that easy. And I feel like that was very insensitive because you have women out there. Men get abused as well. So I'm not just going to leave the men out. But we have people out there who are in real situations where they are abused. And even if it's not physical, sometimes psychological abuse can be worse than physical. Okay? Sometimes psychological abuse can be worse than physical abuse. Yes, there are scars with physical. When you look down and see that scar, it's a reminder of what you went through in that situation. But psychologically, when you get into a person's head with abuse, psychological, mental, that stays with you. That stays with you, okay? For a very long time. Marsau's mouth is very reckless. And I don't know how Tisha stayed with him. I don't know how Tisha continued to put up with him and all the things that she have to go through with him. Every time you turn around there in court for something, and it's all because of his ass. Okay, his mentality is fucked up, son. Who raised you? Oh, I forgot your daddy wasn't there to teach you how to be a man. But anywho and anyway, that is it, guys, for this video. I'm gonna get off him, child, because he ain't about to have me here hollering. No. All right, he is not going to have me in here hollering. But that's it, and that's all in this video. Thank you so much, Danita Picker, for being here. Mama Talk Love, thank you for being in the house. All right. Rose Armstead, my mod, I see you as well. Thank you for being up here. Big Steak is in the building. Alicia Murray is here. Cookie Clark is in the building. Let me go up. Let's see. Deidre Brunch, I see you. I see you. Amber Shelby, thanks for being here. Valerie Rainey, thanks for being here. Sunshine Rays, Sweet Thing is in the building. Rabbits Running is here. Trina Dean is here. Dot Willie is here. Tanasha Harris is here. Miss Grip is here. Mary White is in the building. Coley Cole is here. Who else? Dot Willie, I said it. Said it already. Good morning. Not good morning, but good afternoon. Tanasha Harris is here. Thank you so much for being here. Who else? Everybody in the bushes, I guess. MSG, thanks for being here. All right. Mocha's Pam is in the building. Thanks for being here, Mocha Pam. Kim Jenkins is here. Delilah T is here. Omnia Moore is here. Deidre Brunch is here. Tanya Harris is here. Who else? Let's go down the list because I didn't get to say individually good morning and hello to you guys this morning, so I'll do it now. Alicia Murray, thanks for being here. Sweet Essence, I see you in the building. Thanks for being here, love. Who else? Let's go up. Let's make sure we speak to everybody because I appreciate you guys stopping by, okay? Did I get everybody? Eve Parker, I see you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Eve Parker, Tiffany Thomas, thank you for being here. I bet you won't is in the building. I like your name. All right. Beautiful Bull-ish. Yes, honey. Thanks for being here. I like your name as well. Cassandra D, I see you in the building. Thank you for being here. Shaquanda is in the building. Betty Brockington is here. D Nice is here. Alicia Stout is here. Pamela Baker is in the building. Thanks for being here. Love. I see you, Nikki B, Denise Slay, April Pearson. We got all the way to the top. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank y'all for being here. My mods, Belle Wilson, KBR Tyra, Scorpion, Miss Rose Armstead, and True TV Podcast. I appreciate you guys for doing your good work in here of modding. All right, we're gonna get on out of here, guys. I may pop back because it's still early. It's 6 o'clock? Yes, about 6. So I'm gonna try. I might pop back in because there's so much going on. So we might cram one more little short video in for today. Okay. I appreciate you guys too. Thank y'all for stopping by. Please don't forget to tap that like button to support the video and push it into the algorithm. All right. Tell a friend to come on over to the Camera and Rel Show and subscribe as well. All right. If nothing else, let's go. Bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negative